With some big news with the stock market today. We're going to be talking about everything you guys need to know about the stock market, how it closed, what to expect on Monday, and some big news that happened today. With that being said, we're going to look at the overview first. So basically, NVIDIA closing at 4%. We do have a meeting with NVIDIA CEO and Trump. So we're going to be talking more about that in a couple of seconds. Apple down 1%, but they did have decent earnings. And I think that we can fill up some gaps to the upward trend, maybe. Broadcom up 3%, Google 2%. Tesla 1%. We're seeing some green with Tesla finally. And then for the overall week, we had Apple up 5%. Apple kind of hit a bottom, and then now we're kind of seeing Apple up. We got some other health and technology stocks who looking green. Nvidia down 20% with the AI in China. We're gonna be talking a little bit about that also. And just overall, I think the market is doing decent, but we're just moving a lot up and down. So let's get some news. Tell you guys what's going on. So first off, we got something very, very important that is happening probably right now. But with that being said, Trump and the CEO of NVIDIA is currently meeting, and they're talking about things like the China AI and exports to China. And I got a more detailed video on this, but they're basically just talking about exports and kind of I think Trump wants to look for some loopholes and kind of cancel those loopholes too, eliminate the loopholes, and just more on the exports of AI chips to China and just try to get US the number one still and the US on top with the technology sector. With that being said, this can really move the market even more and move Nvidia either up or down. I think more chances of it moving down because if we do get more of a limit and or if they can't profits selling to China, it can make Nvidia look bad and continue on that downward trend. So keep that in mind. We'll be looking more on Nvidia stock a little bit later when we get to the charts. That being said, we do have a strike coming for Costco, so keep that in mind if you guys are invested in a Costco. And then we do have Microsoft forming a new unit to study AI's impact. And then we got some most active stocks, of course, NVIDIA. We've been seeing it just on the downward trend. We've seen like 19%, which is insane. Rigetti, of course, Rigetti. Intel, we got some decent news, but it kind of filled its gap downward. We're gonna be looking at Intel also. Ford moved a decent amount, and then Walgreens moved a decent amount. But with that being said, all other news. So basically, we got tariffs coming. So President Trump announced the implement of 25% tariffs on imports from Mexico and Canada, and a 10% goods on China, and it is effective literally tomorrow. So keep that in mind. We are seeing some other things like I think JP Morgan, $4 billion gold delivery in the US with the fears of tariffs. So tariffs is coming out. With that being said, Apple did report its quarterly earning revenue of $124 billion, driven by higher services revenue, but they did have a decline in iPhone sales. But we did see Apple stock increase 4%. And we're going to be talking more on that with the charts. Intel reported quarterly losses that were less than expected, indicated, and they also talked more about their turnaround plan. So this can really positively affect how investors feel about them, and you might see Intel finally come back. We did get some inflation data. It increased to 2.6% in December. So that's pretty good too. Yeah. So with news taken out of the chart or the picture, let's look at some charts. So first off, we're gonna look at Intel. So basically, with the earnings, we did have a decent bullish trend. But with that being said, today we kind of filled the gap back downwards. But with that being said, sometimes you see the gap fill back downwards and then come back. We might even see 50%. Even if you see 50% of the gap coming back, you might be able to see $20 again, which I mean isn't really that much of a difference, like a dollar upwards. But we can either see it fill back upwards or go back down to the downward trend. But we're kind of hitting the line of where it kind of stopped before. So I think $19 flat can be a good price range to look at. See if we can bounce off of it to the upward trend or go down even more. With that being said, if the turnaround plan works and everybody is happy, might see it go bounce off of this line and go up. But with that being said, looking at it to the downward trend, I'll look at the $19 level, the 18.5 and then 18, and then to the upward trend. I do want to look at how it reacts to that $20 level going up to the highs that it made, which is 2083. But I probably look at maybe 2090 to see how it reacts with that. And if we can break past that, we might see the stock start climbing finally. In Tesla, we did have earnings, like 2 days ago. We did see it go up a decent amount and kind of fall back down though. With that being said, we are kind of maintaining. I think we're maintaining like that 400 to that 395 level. But with that being said, we might see it down a little bit more. So with that being said, I do recommend looking at that 401 level and then looking at that 400 level. And then if we break down below, I'll look at that 395. 395 would be a key level. And if we break down below that even more, 392, 390, and then reach some levels that we were at before. So like 385. And then probably maybe if we break below that 385, we can see it break down even more to that 375. So keep that in mind to the downward side. I don't think Tesla has any like horrible news yet. So I think we might be able to see it maybe bounce down, maybe just a little bit more and then bounce back. With that being said, if we do bounce down, look at that 400 level breaking up and then past that 405 right now and then 410. And of course, that 420 level, we've seen like two bounces off, it retested, didn't work. And then you've seen a lot of people sell off. With that being said, I do recommend looking at that 420 level, 425, and then 430. Hopefully we hit that 430, but it's kind of rare right now. So I recommend just having your patience with Tesla, NVIDIA. We do have a sell-off, and with honestly, it just depends on how the meeting goes. We can either see it bounce down even more, maybe even break that 119 level, 118, 117, 116, 115 is going to be key. If you see 115, I'll be looking at it going down even more to that 110 level and maybe even breaking down even more if we get horrible news. With that being said, it can really mess up the profits and just investors' sentiment on this stock because if they can't really make any profits with China or like a big country like China, I think we could see it go down. But right now, I want to look at that 121 level, 122, 124, 125, and then maybe breaking above, maybe going to that 130 level once again. We did hit it, but then we bounced off pre-market. So with that being said, I do recommend just being very patient with Nvidia and just seeing what the like play news with Nvidia. If we get good news, then we'll be bullish. If we get bad news, of course, bearish. That being said, the SPY, man, we hit a decent level. We hit like 610 again, but we seen it bounce off, and then a bunch of like stocks just sold, and they were kind of just pushing SPY down. With that being said, I do recommend looking at that 600 level on the downside, 600, and then 599, 598, 595. But on the upside, I think we can maybe break down a little bit more and then start retesting the 600 level again, and then going up again to the 602, 603, 605. And then I want to really see what happens with that 610 if we do look positive next week. Because next week, I think that 610 is going to be a key level to look at. And then we might be able to break past that 610 level. So keep that in mind because we kind of been touching it, kind of been like battling it a couple times. But I feel like that's going to be hard to kind of break past. That being said, Apple, we did have a big sell off like you guys seen before. But I think so earnings did pretty decent and we filled the gap downwards like 100% back down to the lows of when we had earnings because we had a sell off and then earnings came and then everything like the meetings and stuff. With that being said, I think we can fill the gap upwards a little bit more. I think we can see 240 next week, and maybe 240 is going to be a key level. So if it breaks past the 240, we could be more positive. But then if it breaks below the 240, we can be more negative. With that being said, we do got the gap fill as a positive thing, and also the recent bullish trend that we've been reaching since we reached a decent low, and we finally been going bullish. So I think with the gap fill and looking bullish, I think we could see 240 and maybe even see that 250 level next week if we keep doing good and don't get any more bad news. That being said, Bitcoin, we did have a big sell off of Bitcoin also. That being said, I do recommend looking at the 100K level first, see how it reacts with that 100K, and then we might break below it for a little bit, and then we might break above that 100K once again. Bitcoin has been maintaining that 100K this past week. We did like bounce below it a little bit, but it kind of bounced above it again. With that being said, whenever I look at Bitcoin, I like to look at MSTR. They have big holdings in Bitcoin. So with that being said, it moves with Bitcoin. As you guys can see, the big sell-off. So I do recommend looking at MSTR. If we do go a little bit more down with Bitcoin, I think we can see MSTR go to that 330 level. I honestly think I'm gonna load up a little bit at the 320 and then dollar cost average if we keep going down because we can see this stock go up even more. Because I mean, Bitcoin's you're not gonna see it like die down anytime soon. So that being said, just get this stock at a premium, maybe some call options, and then just wait for it to go back up. It has been kind of up and down, like not really moving as much as it used to, but we can see it at highs like 400 and even more. And then if we hit like a insane high with Bitcoin, we can see it go back up to that 500 level that it was at before. But that's kind of just me overhyping this. So don't expect that, but it's just something that I'm looking into. We also had Google reach some new highs, and Google has been looking pretty strong. They've been having some good news with their AI and everything that they've been coming out with. With that being said, I do recommend looking at it, testing that 208, and then that 210 is going to be key. And then if we can keep looking bullish, that'd be good. But then also, with that being said, we might have some gaps filling downwards first. So I do recommend looking at that 204, 202, and then testing at 200 again. 200 is going to be a key level. If we can test that 200, maybe get a bounce upwards and or break below it, and then see it kind of dying down a little bit. But then I think it's just going to maintain the previous levels, as you guys can see before. So that's why I say like the gap downwards, and we might just maintain a little bit and or test that 200 and then bounce up. So keep that on your mind. But with that being said, thanks for watching the video. Smash the like button, subscribe if you guys are new. Check out some of those links for some free stocks and coins, and also join the Discord and have those post notifications on so you guys never miss out on upload. I upload videos like this every single day and give you guys some penny stocks and some option plays to look at. Thanks for watching. Smash that like button. We got an indicator video coming out soon, so stay tuned for that. Peace out.